Davy Crockett homestead. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints.
There's even a hot dog cooking.
Okay.
Well, basically what you see here is what the Crockett would have been familiar with on the homestead. This is where he was born. This is where his story begins. Most of these structures here would have been very typical on the homesteads here along the Nolichucky River. This was a Nolichucky settlement for quite a few years. The Crockett's arrived here in the mid-1780s, around 1785 or so. Establish a homestead here, get the family settled in. We know approximately where they would have settled based on what David provides us later on.
Yeah.
He writes in his narratives that the family settled down near the headwaters of Limestone Creek, where it runs into the Nolichucky River, which is right over here where the landing is.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a waterfall that's...
Well, that would be down in that direction there. They're more like a shoals today.
Right, he said the thing says it's worn down.
Well,
but it used to be a waterfall that could have killed
the waterfalls. But bear in mind, David was very young when he lived here. He was about 6 years old when they moved on. So everything to him would have looked a lot bigger than it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
So this is a drying rack, and
well, we have 2 turkeys left.
Oh, you still do?
Yeah, they're still here.
Oh, we were looking for them.
Oh, they're around. If they're not up here, they'd probably be down
By the water.
I
was like, oh no.
So you're working on building something here, putting this together yourself?
Well, yeah, that's a drying rack right there.
Drying rack for what?
If you're gonna make jerky, that kind of
Fish.
thing, let the sun do its work.
Okay. That's an authentic table over there.
That's a shaving horse.
A shaving, that's right. I'm trying to remember the name of that stuff.
That's a pretty handy tool to have. You want to make legs for tables and chairs and such. It's been put to good use while building the structures here on the homestead.
So it's still in use?
Oh, you betcha.
Because it's like a vise.
Yeah, basically so. Now, I don't have all the tools with me right now, but what you basically do is you sit down here and shave the horse. Got a piece of wood. You want maybe well, if you look behind you, look at some of the benches there. See the legs on the benches? Well, you take a piece of wood, stick it in here. This is a clamp.
Step on it, pinch it down.
That'll hold it down. And you'd have a draw blade.
Draw blade, pull it towards yourself. Right?
Pull it to yourself, and you shave it down to the desired length and size that you want.
Very useful tool.
So like I said, it's been put to a lot of good use while building these structures here. Where are you folks all visiting from?
We live here.
Oh, do you?
We live over at a campground.
Oh, okay.
We moved from Florida.
Just halfway up the hill and halfway down then, huh?
Yeah.
Over here, this structure, that's our chicken coop.
Were wild animals more prevalent back then here?
The chicken coop
you
over
bet they
here.
were. Over here's our spring house. That structure over here.
This is the spring house where the ducks are?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the chicken coop is
this? This is the chicken coop right here. The stone under the shelter over there, it's very hard to read now. Nature takes its toll. But it commemorates David's 100th birthday.
Oh, okay.
He was born here on this land on August 17th, 1786. That structure over there, that's our hog pen. We just gave away our last boar. We don't have any more swine in there. The ones we did have, they
so
were...
it's gotten more exciting without any boring going on.
Yeah, yeah. But we're going to keep this structure here for our large events. Sometimes folks will bring their animals with them, goats and such, and we'll have a place for them to put it. The strange looking structure over in the corner there, that's our corn crib. Once our corn is harvested, that's where we store it.
Allows for ventilation underneath and on top and all around.
Yep, there's There's a reason why it was built that way. Number one, the obvious reason, to get airflow under there.
Yeah.
Keep critters out of there, but we've probably got the fattest squirrels within 100 miles of here. But
Yeah.
in the earliest days, the settlers are coming to these lands. This was before deeds were filed. They would claim the land they wanted to live on. Sometimes it was referred to as tomahawk improvements. Say you would find a large sycamore up there, climb up that sycamore about 40 feet, carve your name, your initials, or your mark in the tree. Goes to another area, mark it the same way. You may find a boulder somewhere, a tree nearby, you mark that, and you got your land. And it's all based on your tomahawk improvement. You would necessarily need to improve the land by maybe growing a crop of corn, something of that nature. And many times settlers would build something of that nature high above ground, and guess where the settler would sleep and claim the land until a cabin was built or whatever.
So that was
But it was just his way of
first
claiming
pole
it.
barn.
Yeah. Didn't happen all the time, but
So they would build.
documentation of
They
that.
would build like a corn crib and like sleep in it. Is that what you're
Not
saying?
necessarily. Well, I'm sure maybe sometimes they did sleep inside the corn crib, but other times they would sleep underneath it.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was all the
So
time,
it was a
but-
landmark for
but it was,
ownership.
yeah, it showed that there was some kind of an improvement on the land.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, once land companies got involved, land speculators, and deeds are being filed on land, it could cover the land that the previous settler has squatted on, had claimed for himself, but because he doesn't have legal documentation now, he may be forced to move away, no matter
they
how
give
many
him a chance to
improvements he
document
had. What's that?
Did he give him a chance to document it?
Many times
He
they
knew
did
what was
not.
going on. Okay.
Yeah. Because as far as a lot of these other folks, speculators and such, as there shouldn't be anybody living here. It was never officially claimed by anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Land grubbers.
now where these folks are, that's where, that's a representation of the earliest cabin. It is
Looks,
open, so feel free to
somewhat
step
new.
inside.
The side is
That's
kind of fresh.
Well, we built that maybe about 4.5, 5 years ago.
Ah.
and that's
This is
a
period.
representation of
It's
the
a
one he was
representative
born
of
in.
the one. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Many times, the settlers would build something very crude and small, very quickly, just to get the family out of the weather, lay in a crop. And once that was all done, the family's all settled in. Very likely they would have built a larger cabin. We don't have that documentation.
Yeah.
In fact, it's like I said before, we don't know where the actual cabin actually stood,
Okay, not right now.
but what we do know is based on what David tells us.
Yeah. Well, they did. They did
Anything
sometimes.
inside you'd like to show
Oh,
us?
well,
or-
yeah,
I'd
come
like
on
to
in.
close-
They did at Cades Cove. Some of them, added on over the years after
Oh, yeah.
they started
Yeah,
their
could have done that
family.
with something like this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took everything at Kate's Cove that was so spread out because nobody wanted to be near anybody and put it all in one spot for the convenience of looking at it.
Well, that's some of the business stuff.
Just watch your head as you step inside.
Yeah. I guess they had to often keep mudding it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or
This
clay.
is,
Is that clay?
You'll see the
Clay and straw.
the wood chips in there. That's called chinking. This is called daubing. And it's a mixture. What we use is a mixture of mud, straw, donkey, or horse manure. During the hot summer months,
It smells like a barn.
well, actually, it did not.
Oh, good.
During the hot summer months, it was common for folks to knock a lot of the chinking out just to get airflow. in
Oh,
there.
wow.
Gaps, once it was filled in, they had gaps in the logs and such. It served as airflow. It served as gun ports to defend your cabin, and windows and such. So that's basically what this represents here.
So you'd
I don't know
seal it
how
up for
people
winter
lived
and
with
open it up for
mosquitoes
summer.
back in those days.
Now watch your head.
So seal it up for winter and open it up for summer. Ah, working fireplace. I got Bill.
When they moved on, David was one of 9 children.
Wow. So there
Not
were.
even assuming they had a very
So
small
he was 6. So
cabin.
I'm assuming they had. They had older children.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
David was fifth
Okay.
in line there. David, but it didn't necessarily mean everybody was under the roof at the same time. It was common out here in the backwoods where folks are very poor. They would bound out their children to other folks to work for them to bring in money back into the household. David himself had to do that, but this was more over toward in Morristown, but where they had the tavern. But yeah, that was pretty common. Also, families out here had large families because of the high mortality rate.
Yeah. No birth control. Get on.
Yeah, you had to work the farms and the homesteads and such. Boys were very much celebrated out here, as elsewhere on the frontier, as because they were future soldiers, filled up the militia roles to help defend the communities and the settlements.
Which mothers nowadays don't see their children as, fodder for the future of the country. When back then they were.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You were looking forward to your son fighting for the country, giving his life, paying the price. These skins here, is there any history to those? Not long history, just.
Well, basically, back in the day, the economics out here was barter and trade. Furs, what you're looking at, it was the monetary system.
Mm-hmm. Right, the monetary system.
Right.
Oh, what's this one?
That's a beaver.
This is the beaver. And this one?
That's coyote.
Coyote. Beaver,
You
coyote.
got mink.
A mink.
And then there's a river otter.
Which, of course, don't exist now.
Well, they do.
Here. You think there's still some around here?
I see them. They're in
This is a
all
fox. This is a fox, isn't it?
Yep.
And a
it's,
skunk.
Well, I've seen
And
otter
a
the river.
raccoon.
Where I lived on the other
Big
side of
raccoon.
Greenville on the Nolichucky.
This is a possum, I think.
Down the river.
Possum. I'm a pro save the possum person because they eat venomous snakes
And ticks.
and ticks. Each one eats 5,000 ticks in its life. So I'm like, save the possums.
I don't see a deer. Any deer skin, or was deer
You're looking
a
at it
part?
right there.
I was looking at. Is that?
Yeah, that's a deer
close
bill.
to a deer.
Mm-hmm.
What was that in the economy of the day? Just strictly a meat type of thing?
Where you hear the term buck.
Yeah. Well, that's where that came from.
Yep.
One skin was worth $1. Actually,
Yeah, we
yeah,
read
certain-
that. We went
at a
to
certain
somewhere.
point, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
What? I can't remember what campground we were at, but.
No, that was the falls. That falls.
Oh.
Yeah. Was it? Please subscribe, like, leave a nice comment, and share our video. And thank you for watching. We appreciate, even if you're busy, if you just let our videos play to the end. Like our videos and leave comments. It really helps our channel grow, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you, my friends. Have a blessed day.